I think the dream of being an athlete or going to the Olympics started for me. I was 8 years old and I was watching the Olympics and I saw Carl Lewis run, and when he finished I remember seeing him grab the US flag and run around the stadium, and I remember seeing everybody waving these little US flags and hollering out his name and throwing flowers. When I watched that, I turned to my mom and I said, "Mom, that's what I want to do when I get older."
At the age of 14, I broke Michael Phelps' national record in a 200 butterfly, which is a huge achievement for me. I'm only 14 and these guys are already noticing me, and that was just extremely cool, and that's pretty much the point where it hit me that I could take this a little farther. I could go to school, I could possibly make the Olympic team.
I loved the social scene of swimming, and my friends did it, and that was kind of what drew me in. There was definitely another level I could have taken it to that I just didn't, and then when I became paralyzed, I found that other level. I wanted to break the world record in the 400 free, and I wanted to make the world championship team. I swam the 400 free and went a 5:12 in the 400, which was 6 seconds faster than the world record that was previously held by an Australian, and had been standing for 9 years. And at that point in time when I finished that race, I kind of started to click in, and I realized that I could really make something of this.
Late spring of 2008, and had just started riding my bike in June 2008. I was working on Wall Street at the time, so it was kind of just freedom every time I got on the bicycle. And my friends convinced me to go do this bike race up in Vermont called the Green Mountain Stage Race. So I was just riding along, and I dropped the group that my race. I was in the front of my race, and then I realized as I pull up next to it that I'm passing the category 1-2 women, which who started 5 minutes ahead of my category. So it was definitely a moment of they're looking at me, I'm looking at them, and I went by. But that was kind of a moment when I kind of thought, maybe I'm pretty decent at this.
And so when I was 7 years old, we had a fun day at school where we were able to race and throw and jump and all these things. And I went out and I ran. I beat all the girls and the boys in my class, beat the times of the girls that were 2 or 3 years older than me. And I kind of figured then I was gonna be a runner.
You don't wake up one day and become a professional swimmer. I think it's something that starts when you're younger and you just keep building and building. Pretty much I stand up behind the blocks knowing my parents are watching and knowing that everybody's watching me, and I'm like, I gotta do this for them, make them proud, and make the Barons family proud.
My dad, when I was growing up, he told my sisters and I, "You are the best, you can make a difference, and you can change the world." And when I was paralyzed, he put that in every card he wrote to me, every anniversary, every card. That and never give up are my 2 main phrases. I think that is definitely one of the biggest things that has led to my success and led to me being able to do what it is that I do, because I know no matter what I do or what goal I set, they're backing me.
So when I turned 16, I said to my parents, "Can I have a car?" And they said, "No, because your brothers didn't get cars." And I said, "Well, I swim every day and I go to swim practice at 4 in the morning, and you need to get me a car. Please get me a car." And they said, "No." So I said, "All right, well, if I make the '88 Olympic team, will you buy me a car?" And they said, no. If I win a gold medal, will you buy me a car? And my dad said, "Janet, if you win a gold medal, I'll buy you any car you want." We get to the '88 Olympics, I win my first gold medal, and I see my parents afterwards, and they're so excited, they're so happy, and I said, "I want a red BMW 325i convertible with black leather interior." And when I came home from the Olympics, it was sitting in the driveway. So it was amazing.
Key ingredient to my success has been my family support. I have been, I think, the most fortunate athlete to have my mom and my dad and my sister support me in a way that's just so hard to describe. I have this bullet necklace that my mom gave to me when I was in the 7th grade. She said I was faster than a speeding bullet. And when I first got it, I thought it was cool. I wore it sometimes, but as I got older, it started to mean more and more to me, and I wear it for every single race. I kind of feel like I carry a piece of my mom and my family around with me.
And my parents have basically instilled in me that as long as I try hard, even if I fail, there's not a problem. So I've kind of lived my life by taking risks, trying out new things, not really afraid of failing.
And don't get me wrong, I was not a good kid. I did not make good decisions. I made a lot of bad decisions growing up. But I had so many people in my life that really cared about not Brian Clay the athlete, but just Brian Clay the person. And so they really took it upon themselves to walk alongside of me, throughout my life, and to kind of help nudge me back into line when I was starting to stray off the path.
mental. I think at the top of any sport, I mean, be it triathlon, swimming, you know, everyone has this amazing physiology, right? But what's going to differentiate the best from the best is the mental strength. I mean, suffering, you know, embracing how much you can suffer, suffering more than the person next to you. You know, taking it to that one next step deeper.
The workouts are not easy at all. Most of the times I have to talk myself through them because it's so challenging. After having my hardest workout, usually when I have my hardest workout, I actually throw up. So I'll have this terrible day, I'll give it my all, I'll throw up. And then even though in the moment I hate it, I'm like, well, my workouts are gonna get much better from here on. So even though it seems like a catastrophe and like the worst day of the year, it's actually my favorite day of the year because I feel like I've just pushed myself beyond that breaking point for the season.
I think training intensifies a lot over the year, over the Olympic year. We'll be coming in, doing extra dry land, doing extra work, trying to clean up a lot of things. When somebody asks, why are you doing this? It's the Olympic year. You gotta do it. Remember, you don't wanna be at that spot and look back and say, yeah, you know, I should have done something different. I should have done more.
My coach and I say time and time again that it's like a game, and we just want to keep getting faster. I'll swim a race and I'll break a record, and he'll say, great job, but. And that's what I get from him every time.
You know, it is very, very important to fail every once in a while, to learn what works, what doesn't work, to learn how to respond to it, to learn how to get back up, dust yourself off, and keep going. I mean, without those lessons being learned, I would not be successful right now.
The world record that stands out most to me was the 100 breaststroke. And I remember diving in the water and going off the blocks, and I had one Brit on one side and one Brit on the other, and they had been alternating this world record for I think 6 or 7 years. So I knew they were coming for me, and I got to the 50 mark and I was ahead of them, and I just swam like crazy the way home because I knew they were coming after me. And I hit the wall and I heard them announce a new world record, and I kind of looked up. I was like, who touched me out? That was my first response. I was like, oh gosh, who touched me out? And I looked to either side, and I looked up and my face was on the Jumbotron. And I've never cried for a race, and I was just like, my eyes were watering up. I have a photo of myself after that race that is my screensaver. It motivates me. I see that one record, I think of all 16, to this day, and probably even for years to come, will be one of my best swims.
You actually have to view yourself as like a high performance vehicle. You gotta look under the hood, what's wrong? So I've crashed a few times, so you need to go see your physical therapist, and you need to work on your core. And then for the food, it's exceptionally important.
But I have to stay focused on the end result and not get too worked up about having a bad set or a bad practice. So having sponsors and partners like BMW allow us athletes to really do what we do and allow us to purely focus on our training and not have to worry about all of the other things.
You know, you want to try to fit your body through the smallest hole possible. You want to be going through the water with least amount of drag the entire time. You watch some of the best swimmers, and when they pull on the water, they have no air bubbles on the hand. Then you watch somebody who enters a hand just that much at a different angle, they get a bunch of air bubbles, so they're not pulling as much water.
Technology is very important in the sport of swimming. Efficiency is very important in the sport of swimming. Velocity is very important in the sport of swimming. And these are all things that BMW excels at, efficiency and velocity. So what the engineers are doing with us as athletes is also a lot what they do with cars, finding the efficiency, finding the power that's needed, and putting it to use on the track immediately.
When I was 16 and my dad challenged me to become a better athlete, I started doing 1,000 sit-ups a day. And I noticed the big difference in my training, because especially for me, a sprinter that runs the 400, which is a race that incorporates speed and endurance, when your core is strong, you're able to pick your legs up the last 100 meters.
One of the things that I do is I'll stand at the back of the runway and I'll visualize a throw before I even start throwing, and I'll visualize myself running down the runway and where I'm going to start my crossovers, and I'll visualize a throw, and I'll visualize how far it's going to go and where it's going to land.
I think the thing I draw from the first day in the water is just how much I enjoyed it. It was so liberating to be in the pool and out of my chair, and I felt really free. My ultimate goal as an athlete for London is to win 7 individual gold medals. Right now I'm ranked first in the world in all 7, so I'm hoping that I can continue my training and stay healthy and keep myself on track for hopefully a very good performance in London.
I think I've actually been able to accomplish my biggest dream, which was going out and winning a gold medal. I now have the opportunity to go out and make history. And if I can win a third Olympic medal at this next Olympics in London, I'll be the first decathlete to ever win 3 medals in the decathlon at the Olympics.
In 2008, I was undefeated in every other race but the Olympics, so it was a heartbreak for me to not win on the day when it mattered the most. My ultimate goal as an athlete is to win the individual gold medal in the 400 meters at the Olympics.
I'm hoping that, 2012 Olympics, that maybe someone watches this, hears this story, follows it, realizes that women's cycling is just an incredible sport. By the time I leave, I want to know that I have, made the most of all the talent that I have.
To experience that and be a part of that process is one of the best things that I've ever done. To be able to share that with some of my fellow Olympians, they're passionate about what they do, they love the Olympics, they love the movement, they love everything that it stands for, and they wouldn't want to be doing anything other than what they're doing right now.
You have just heard 6 of the athletes from the 11-member BMW performance team. Tonight, for the first time ever, they will all be together celebrating with you. Here is the rest of the team. Matt Sharbot was always good at swimming and running. He entered his first triathlon in 2003, turned pro in 2006, and won the USAT Elite National Championship in 2009. He became the youngest U.S. male to win a World Cup. Matt's goal is to become the first American male athlete to take home an Olympic medal in the triathlon. Natalie Coughlin is an 11-time Olympic medalist and is 2 medals away from becoming the most decorated female Olympic swimmer in history. That's because she's won a medal in every Olympic event she ever entered. In London, she will work to become one of the greatest athletes in Team USA history. April Holmes lost her left leg in a train accident, but that didn't stop her. When she found out about the Paralympic Games, she decided to do whatever it took to be in the Games. Starting in 2002, she has broken world records and won the title World's Fastest Amputee after winning a gold medal in the 2008 Paralympics. She's a thrilling athlete and has resolved to bring home another gold medal from London. Clay Johnson was born to sail. He is the 2011 Laser North American Champion and shortlisted for 2011 U.S. Sailing Yachtsman of the Year. Though he graduated from Harvard and pursued a career as a commodities trader, he is currently devoting himself full-time to sailing. Jonathan Horton was just 5 when he discovered gymnastics, and he hasn't stopped since. In 2009 and 2010, he was the national champion. At the 2008 Olympic Games, he won silver on the high bar and rewarded himself with a BMW. In 2012, he's going for yet another medal.